There's been a lot of talk lately, mostly in the form of a question like, is AI going to replace developers? If so, is it even worth learning anything around software development or IT if the whole field is just going to be automated away? And I think a good way to answer this question is to start by reframing it, because the question really shouldn't be, is AI going to take my job, or some variation of that. It's more like, will my job be given by someone else to an AI? Or maybe even more realistically, how much of my job as a developer is going to be automated by AI and to what end? Because that is absolutely happening, if not quite in the way people might think. Right now, developers are making use of a number of generative AI tools for writing code, like Claude or Cursor or GitHub Copilot. And I'm sure we all know the term vibe coding, where we just use a generative AI model to write code by describing the general gist of what you want and working with the output of the AI from that. But doing all of these things and getting good results from them require knowing what you're asking for. They require knowing the subject matter, being able to recognize the output as being good or bad. And that takes, as you guessed it, developer expertise. If I ask an LLM to generate me a Bootstrap homepage with a hero module and a sticky header and footer, I have to know what all of those things are in the first place, and I have to be able to recognize that the output I get is valid according to what I'm asking for. And that comes out of experience. That kind of specific, lived experience is the kind of thing that isn't easily captured by a generative AI model. This also points to how using LLMs for code involves something that's only a fraction of the actual software developer experience. If being around developers and writing some of my own software has taught me anything, it's that writing code is only the end result of a multi-stage process. It's only part of what goes on in development. And that's true even if the first thing people do with a new project is open an editor and start typing. In general, when you create any kind of program, you need to have some idea of what its requirements are, what its data model looks like, and how you're going to evolve it over successive revisions. And yes, maybe you have to write some throwaway code to get those ideas, but you need those ideas in the first place, and you need to have some idea of how to get them. So at every stage of this work, including the code, all of the toughest decisions about what you're doing remain in the hands of a person who needs to know the field. It's up to me whether or not I'm going to even use any piece of code that's generated by an LLM or in what form. So to the extent that LLMs and related tools automate code writing, from what I've seen, it's mostly in the form of generating boilerplate. Devs have this term yak shaving, which refers to any kind of tiresome, repetitive grunt work that isn't easily automated away. And LLMs and AI tooling can go a fair way towards reducing that kind of work. But they cannot replace, at least not yet, the decision-making needed by the developer to discern what to generate in the first place, or what to use from what's generated, or whether or not what's generated satisfies the requirements. Now, it is possible for some manager to decide he doesn't need a whole team of people, just one person who has a broad but shallow knowledge of the field and a bunch of LLMs at his command. It's absolutely possible. But that one person would need in time to have relatively deep knowledge of everything they were touching, everything they were generating with their code. And it's far easier to get a team of specialists with complementary expertises that cover a broad range of topics than it is to get one generalist who can eventually develop that kind of deep knowledge. See, I don't believe for a minute generative AI is just going to go away. It's here to stay in one form or another. But it's getting harder to justify the idea that it's going to replace human effort entirely. What it will do, what it's already doing, is create a divide between those who choose to embrace tools like these judiciously and conservatively and constructively, and those who won't. And I don't mean just that they won't use them, just that they will either not use them or they will use them badly. Maybe these tools will prove in the long run to be only incrementally useful. Maybe they're not the revolution that's been promised. They might in the end amount to the same kind of transformation for our work that a better breed of text editor might amount to. But where there's talk of replacing people entirely, I suspect that's less because people are actually obsolete and more because the full role of the developer isn't always appreciated. And that's something that we have to evangelize for entirely apart from whatever happens in the LLM and generative AI world. So that's it for this episode. If you liked it, leave a comment below. And don't forget to follow Dev with Serdar and InfoWorld on Facebook, YouTube, and InfoWorld.com.